Hello, good morning. Here's Pingel from the sensational sister group with Sparkle TV, my channel for sharing somatic movement practices, energy tips, and creativity, dance, all practices that help us ignite our inner sparkle and move from freezy states, tension states, anxiety states into confident, sparkling states. And today I share lesson 3 of the series Follow and Flow with Your Nervous System. And I called this lesson, now I have to speak, it's about tango. An artful tango with your nervous system. Because today we are going to co-create, interplay with our nervous system in a very subtle and fine-tuned way. And this is a technique that we use a lot in functional integration, the individual sessions that we, as Feldenkrais practitioners, can give to our students or clients. And we often call that a tango, because in tango there's leading and following. And when a tango really, really feels like heaven, that's when you cannot see anymore who is leading and who is following. It's so interwoven. It has become such a, how would I say this? Well, I can't find the words in English, but that is like a superb tango. And as a tango dancer, that is always what I would look for. And that's a game that is about sensing very deep in yourself and sensing the other. And very important one that's often forgotten. And that's what we practiced yesterday. We practiced active listening so that we could receive this information. And now we can start to play with how we want to add to information. And my trainer Larry Goldfarb used to call this like meandering. A river that's finds its way, not like going linear, but like looking for ways that feel most easy. So let's start. And today we're going to be lying on the floor, so if you have time, didn't do yet, pick your mat. And we're going to do a short moment in standing. And I don't know if you've done the other two lessons, so I will repeat a little of the inquiry of the first lesson, where we were on a pattern safari in Neuro Wonderland, finding out what the patterns is that our nervous system uses and how these patterns affect us in what we want to do in daily life. So let's start with standing on your 2 feet and just take a moment to breathe. Look around, breathe, and sense how you are with yourself and your environment in this moment. Your eyes may be wandering around, and just let them do their thing and see what they want. Active listening to how our body is mapping itself now in the environment, helping our nervous system to make sense of where it is and how it should interpret it. All these information coming from our sensations, from the way we contact the floor, from the sensations of air, of energy, vibration. So many things. Our nervous system doesn't go in a linear way. It picks up on all sorts of things at the same time, and it goes everywhere to map all this information, to archive it, to process it. So, as you are standing here now, can you sense how much of yourself is leaning in your feet? And how much of yourself are you holding with your muscles? And we're always using some of our muscles when we stand. But we don't use them in a lot of effort when we sort of can trust into these earth forces, gravity, the upward forces, when we can yield in the floor. And so now slowly start to shift your weight a little bit to one leg, sensing your balance, sensing how these three body weights, pelvis, chest and head, align above your feet. And everything is good in the Feldenkrais method. We actually just curious. She's like, whoa, what's happening? We are on a safari, on a journey of discovery, and the path is more interesting than the destination. That's so cool about Feldenkrais. You can just endlessly be on a journey. And you just come back and just sense the other side, the other leg. How are you standing on the other foot? How are you aligning above it? Is there a difference? And one says, I once read this quote of someone, I forgot the name, is awareness is about having this ability to distinct differences. Sensory differences today. And then come back to your two legs and feel how you are aligned with the three body weights. And actually that's also your most important centers for information. Your gut brain, your heart brain, your mind brain. So feel how they are aligned with each other. And now they are maybe aligned physically, but when we feel well-being, when we feel good, they are also aligned emotionally. And they can all balance the nervous system with the information that comes in. So actually when we are playing in this course, it may seem that we're only working physical, but actually we touch on every aspect of our being, our emotions, our thoughts, beliefs, our soul, spirit, our biology, and our nervous system. So let's now move to the one leg that felt most easy. And just start looking around to see what's behind you and just sense in what direction do you do that. Are you going with the leg or against the leg? And how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel sensorially? Do you feel tall or small? Emotionally, does it give you a confident feeling, safe? Or do you feel a little bit compressed, like woo? And what is going on in your mind? I'm going very fast to this one. This was lesson 1. You can always take it back. And then you come back. And now deliberately, I see some visitors. Welcome, welcome. I cannot see my comments, but you're very welcome. And now just start to go to the same leg, but look the other side. So maybe you were looking with your leg, or maybe now you can look against the leg, just where you came from. And just sense what that's doing, emotionally, physically, sensorily, so to speak, and mentally. How do you feel? Tall, small? And tall and small has a lot of meanings for people. It's just our experiences that are attached to it. And in this lesson, we're also looking whether we can detach, take away the experience from the sensation. So the sensation can just be information again. Neutral information about the now moment, not the past moment. And coming back to this leg, please. And just play with the other leg. As you go there, you look around to see what's behind you. Just note which side do you go. Do you go with the leg or against it? And how does it make you feel? Tall or small? Emotionally, sensorially, physically, mentally. And your breath can tell you a lot about it. And then you can, come back to your two legs. Do it again and take the opposite direction. When you go to this leg you just went to, the opposite direction to look what's behind you. And also feel how much of yourself is involved. How do you turn? Is everything going at once? The pelvis, the head, the chest? Or is there a sequence to it? A sequential movement. I'm not a native English speaker, so forgive me if I make a little bit of a funny construction of sentences and words. All right. And once more, go to the first leg. Sense how you are moving your body. Are you going all at once, turning, or is there like twisting moments, sequential moments, parts coming later, or parts of your body going earlier? How is your spine spiraling? Might feel different on one side or the other side. And then also sense which side felt most tall. And with this information, I'd like to invite you to lay down on your mat. Take a moment to yield in the floor and feel how much of yourself wants to yield in the floor. The floor can often tell us a lot about how we were standing, how we were holding ourselves in standing, which patterns were there that we used to engage with our environment. The floor is like a lot of support when we're lying with the whole back of ourselves on it. And so how much can we not trust? That is often where the muscles start to work very hard. So take a moment to feel which side of yourself feels tall and which side of yourself feels more small. And how do you know that is like that? How do you feel one side feels taller? Is it the space in between your ribs? Is it the space in between shoulder and hip? Is it because one leg feels shorter, or is your head maybe closer to one shoulder? How do you know that one side feels smaller and one side feels taller? Or is it a different contact with the floor? Or maybe it's the breath, the movement of breath in your body that seems to expand more in some places in your body and less in other places. So there's many things that we can send our attention to, and the more time we take for that, of course, the more we start to feel. And 20 minutes is only just a little bit of a normal Feldenkrais lesson. They are mostly like 60 minutes. So if you have found out which side feels most tall, let's bend the legs. Bend one leg, the leg of the tallest side. The other leg you can just keep long. And then slowly start to lift your hip of the side that is most tall and walk your hip a little close to the foot. And land it. And then just sense how are you breathing, how you're following your breath with your movements. Just see how far you can comfortably walk to your foot with that only hip. And then take a moment also to feel, how is it resting? How are you resting in this asymmetrical position? How can you feel comfortable in this position? And then lift your, you can bend your other leg, lengthen this leg. And then lift the hip of the small side and walk it closer to the shoulder. So we are going to reinforce the pattern to be much more stronger, much more intense, in a way that feels nice, pleasurable, easy. So as you walk that hip closer to your shoulder, feel how's that? How can you feel comfortable in this asymmetrical position? Where do you breathe? How does it change your contact with the floor? And then let go of that. bend 2 legs. Now alternate, the tall side hip will go to the foot and the small side hip will go to the shoulder, and you sort of walk them away from each other. In a tango we have like this moment where we are attracted to each other, and there's always the opposite moment where we need to make some more distance. Let's play with that. So they walk away from each other. And find how you can make that really, really pleasurable. What's happening elsewhere in your body as your hips are walking away from each other. One to the shoulder and one to the foot. Where do you feel you let go of tension, and where do you feel maybe, oh, yeah, use some more muscle force, and how can you change that? And then just stop there where you feel comfortable and stay in this position for a moment and feel how you're resting here, how you're breathing here, which are the places that the air can flow in and which places maybe allow less. Sense your jaw, sense the contact of your ribs with the floor and your shoulder blades. Where else in your body do you feel very asymmetrical at this moment? And then bring your hands in your groin, of the mouth of the hands on the hip bones, and the fingertips are more in the groin, close to your hip joints, maybe in the hip joints. And just let your hands rest there, feel their weight, really like you're touching yourself, very lot of presence. And then slowly start to move the hip that's on the tall side a little closer to the floor and back. And as you press gently with your hand to bring that hip closer to the floor, imagine that you are lying on a clock. 12 is on the side of your head, 6 is on the side of your feet. And just sense in which direction does your hip want to press in the floor. Which number of the clock would that be? And is there other directions that maybe are available? So you can just play with that half of the clock that corresponds with the tall side of yourself and that hip. Just allow your hip to follow with your hands. And this is the part where we are co-creating with our nervous system. So we want to be very gentle. If we feel resistance, then that's not the direction our hip wants to go. And then imagine that river that meanders, that doesn't take this straight line, but it's just going maybe a little to the right, the left, up or down. And so you can just play with what direction does the nervous system allow the hip to go, and what direction no. You can come back to a direction where you felt resistance later. You first want your nervous system to trust you. And your breath can help you. It's really sense as you press, can you go with the out breath? Can you really feel that you can let go in places where you're maybe in your body feel a bit of tension, the jaw, the belly, the chest. How much of yourself can you allow to yield in gravity as you ask the hip actually to go and give itself surrender to gravity? So we have to preach what we talk about here to our nervous system. And as you sort of play with these directions, which direction feels like you yourself can most enjoy there, not having to press with your hand so hard. It is as if it's this tango where leading and following just fall at place and become one. Where does your hand and your hip sort of melt together, say yes, yes, this is it. where do your mind and body and your mind and nervous system sort of like sing a song together, say, yeah, this is our symphony. Okay. And then stop with the pressing of this side. Take a moment to breathe. Keep the legs bent. Keep in this configuration and just sense, how is it now? And then start pressing with the hand that's on the short hip, the hip that's on the short side. And gently press there, following the clock, that half of the clock. Most natural. And slowly start to shift a little bit. Maybe go a little bit down, go a little bit up. Where is availabilities? There's more options to move. And it's a gentle press. So just sense the wrist can be very relaxed. We press more like the weight of the hand that yields for the floor. Then that we start to use muscle force. Because the more force we use, the more resistance we get. It's actually like in normal communication. And you tell somebody, you have to do this, the other says, oh, I know very well what I have to do. And it's the same in our body and our nervous system. They are very wise. And they know very well. And so we will want to have an equal dialogue. We don't want to tell them, advise them like this is what it is. We just want to dance with them. Okay, now lengthen your legs, please. Take a moment to feel how you sense now in the floor. What has changed in how you perceive yourself, how you feel yourself. And then take your knees towards your chest. The head stays on the floor, but with your hands you take the back of your legs. Maybe you can hold your calves, or if that's too high, maybe the back of your knees. And so your limbs are in the air. And now start gently rolling a little bit to the right side. And the head and spine and the head and coccyx, maybe the head and tailbone stay in one line. You roll a little bit to one side and you rest on that side of your back. Just really feel how you balance there in an easy way. And then rolling to the other side, finding your rest there. And you don't have to go all the way to the side. You want to go as far as that the way back is easy. Reversibility of movement. So really sense where you can rest and breathe and are not tightening up for balancing yourself. Just a little bit. Like a swing. Easily breathing in the background. Looking for these little things you can gift yourself. Easy breathing. Aligning the nose with the pubic bone. So the spine stays in one shape. And then you come to the middle. You can lengthen your legs. And for the last time, take a moment how you sense yourself now lying on the floor. The right side of yourself, the left side of yourself. The tall side of yourself and the small side of yourself. What is tall now and what's small now? Or did it come closer together? Or did it come farther apart? Become comfortable. My trainer Larry Goldfarb used to say, see it like a party. And then you have your When an uninvited guest comes, like a pattern or a habit, you can tell it, no, 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 you are not welcome here. Or you say, hey, hello, join, you want a glass of wine? Yes, nice. And when everyone engages with that person, it's not uninvited anymore and becomes maybe very joyful. So the more we can include, the less struggle we experience, and the more patterns can dissolve their dysfunctionality. We get more options. We dissolve our focus there. So please come to standing. And just sense how you stand on your 2 feet now. What is different from when we started this little lesson. And just take a moment to bring your weight to the side that felt most tall, or feels most tall now, and to look to see what's behind you, and just sense whether the strategy has changed. Maybe you look in a different way, take a different direction to look for what's behind you, and feel how it feels, sensorially, emotionally, mentally. What does this tall or small mean now for you? Is it different? And also turn to the other side if you want. Just sense who is looking behind now. Is it your confident you or your uncertain you? And confident, when we want to be free, confident is not attached to tall or small. So it all depends on how our muscles contract in positions and withhold us to be free to let our eyes wander here. The more free our eyes can wander, the more confident our nervous system is in the now moment, mapping itself here in the physical environment. And that we will feel as the nervous system talks to us, through all these somatic channels, the thoughts, the emotions, sensations, images that we get. Okay, just walk around a little bit. We end the lesson with this last inquiry, and I see you tomorrow when we are going to tango some more with our nervous system, looking at other parts in the body that can really perfect this pattern to make it such a great pattern that the nervous system sort of is like taking away its defenses and protections and trust fully that we understand what it is doing. And when that happens, we actually are free of habit. So, I wish you a great day. I'm going back in the rain. It's finally raining here in the south of Spain after months of drought. And I see you tomorrow, 9:30 Central European time in the morning. Bye.